Hey there, I'm Brittany from Quarter Acre Roots. We talk a lot about growing a lot in a little bit of space and turning your yard into a garden. And today I'm not outside gardening. I'm wearing a sweater, I'm wearing normal clothes. I realized that I never did a video about the countertop composter I have. Vego Garden sent me their countertop composter like a year and a half ago, and I never did a YouTube video about it. They didn't ask me to, and I've been using it for a year and a half, and so I realized I should probably do a video about this because it is the middle of winter here in Zone 7, and I love having a winter composting solution. So I'm gonna talk a little bit about the system, how it works, if it smells, what I compost in it, all those types of things to give you an idea if this is going to work for you or not. Here is a look at the composter. I have the lid off so I can show you that there is this metal bucket that you can pick up by the handle and take out. So that is what you actually put your waste in down in this. And you can see there are like these blade things that spin around when it is in use. And then of course there is a lid that you can put on and then watch the whole process. So I really like that. I like watching everything break down over a pretty short period of time. We compost with lots of different things. We have 3 yard waste bins in the backyard. We have a double barrel compost tumbler, and then we also have a big bin behind my greenhouse. So this is definitely not the only way that we compost. But when everything's kind of frozen over in the winter, I find this is a really, really effective way to shrink down our waste to a really nice pre-compost meal that we can then put in a baggie and save for the spring, or mix in with some soil outside on a day that it's not super freezing, or just dump it into an existing compost bin to kind of jumpstart that in the spring. There are 5 modes on this, all listed here, and I'm gonna be honest, I only use the Vego meal modes. Some of these modes have different purposes. One of them is for a much faster mode. So there is a mode that's just a dehydrate mode, and that is going to use a super, super high heat that's not going to preserve any of the good stuff in compost that like we really like compost for. So I don't ever use the dehydrate mode. I don't know why you would use the dehydrate mode unless you like really wanted to rapidly shrink down your waste really, really quickly. I use the Vego mode, the little V on it, because that's the one that takes a little bit longer, but it isn't as hot and fast, and so you are retaining a lot of those beneficial microbes and all of the things you're composting to mix into your soil. Now let's address the smell. There is a smell, obviously, that goes along with decomposing food. That is just a given. It is decomposing, rotting food. You're gonna have a smell. So when you take the bucket out, you'll see like kind of vents back here, and mine's really dirty because obviously I have been using mine a lot. I really enjoy it and I probably need to clean it. But if you look on the back here, you'll see that there's a spot where you can pop this off and replace a charcoal filter. So I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I have replaced my charcoal filter maybe once. You should replace it more than that if you don't want to have a smell. So I have this out in my greenhouse right now because I have power run to my greenhouse, and we have a really small house. And when I run this in the kitchen, like you can smell it. My husband came home one day and he's like, it smells like rotting food in here. And I said, that's because there is rotting food in here. I'm composting right now. So I try to be courteous with the other people who live in my house. It doesn't really bother me that much. It's like a sweet smell. It's not like a terrible smell. It's like a very sweet smell. But I will say, if you use a fresh charcoal filter in there, it helps a ton. I've just been so lazy about getting more and replacing them. If you are in a small space and like you don't really have space to compost outdoors, this is still a really great solution. Like you could say, if you had a little balcony, I have gardened on a little balcony before. That is where I started gardening. You could run this inside and then you could take the meal from it, put it in a bucket outside, or even get like one of those vermicomposting worm towers and dump your Vego meal into that and then let the worms eat it because they're still gonna love it. They're gonna go through that stuff so much faster than they would chopped up waste because you've already like gotten it down into tiny little pieces for them to eat and digest and poop out. Another great solution would be if you do have a balcony, you could get like some sort of pot, and anytime you get some Vego meal from it, you could mix it in with some existing soil out there that you just keep on hand to like kind of chill and sit with some regular soil for like a month or 2 before planting it in something else. You could also take a little bit of the meal and work it into the tops of some of your potted plants. That would be totally fine. It will be kind of a similar process to like mixing in worm castings into the top of your soil, which is something that I'm a big fan of with my house plants instead of fertilizer because I always forget to fertilize, and I hate buying fertilizer. I love using worm castings because it is so good for plants. So you could try something like that with this, but again, I would not mix in too much because you don't want to shock your plant's roots. Now, if you're an app person, there is a really cool app that you can use with this. I used it at first, and like I often do with apps, I just kind of like fell off using it because you don't have to use it. It is pretty cool. It tells you some really cool things about the composting cycle you're doing, including how long it's running. It will give you an alert when it's done. So if it's not somewhere that like you can easily see when it's done, it will tell you on the app. It will also give you some facts about like energy and savings and whatnot after your compost session is done. So yeah, if you get it, I would definitely say to download the app and to link it to your composter so you can explore those features and see if it's something that like you like to do. But it is not required to use your composter. Really, all you have to do is plug it in, dump the scraps in, and press go on whichever cycle that you want to use. I mentioned energy use. I want to touch on energy use with this because that is something that I see like comments on all the time. Whenever I see someone showing this countertop composter and talking about it, people will comment and say like, what's the point? You're using all this energy. Like it just completely negates the benefits of composting. That's a valid concern. In a true composting perfect world, we would all have a huge space for enough bins to rotate our compost, to have a started pile, to have a middle pile, and to have a finished pile, and do everything with the power of the sun and nature. Unfortunately, that is not the case for everyone. So this definitely makes composting more accessible to people. I did reach out to Vego and ask them specifically about energy consumption with this because I couldn't find anything on the website, and that honestly made me a little nervous. Like I was wondering, oh my God, is this like a huge power suck, like a space heater, like sucking power for like an entire 24-hour cycle while it's running? And I'm going to read exactly what they got back to me with regarding the stats. Okay, so they said, regarding power consumption, our product uses between 0.3 kilowatts per hour and 1.5 kilowatts per hour, depending on the mode and the weight of the kitchen waste. This is equivalent to a 15-watt desk lamp running continuously for 20 hours, or a 1,000-watt microwave operating for 1.5 hours. So use that information and to help make your decision. Personally, I do not think that a 15-watt desk lamp running continuously for 20 hours, maybe once a month that I'm running this in the winter, maybe twice a month, is that big of a deal for what I'm getting in return and all of the food that I'm keeping out of my garbage can when my compost pile is completely frozen over. So if you stumbled on this video because you were looking for information about this countertop composter, I hope that you found something helpful in this video. I'm a big fan of it. Like I said, I've used it a lot over the last year and a half or so since they sent it to me. Huge fan of a lot of my Vego products. Like I really only work with brands that I used before I started doing this and that I love the products from. But I understand it is pretty expensive. So I do have a referral coupon code down in the caption of this video if you are interested in shaving a little bit off the top. And always look out for sales because they do some really, really good sales on their products. But yeah, check it out and let me know in the comments if you have any other questions and I will do my best to answer them. So until my next video, happy planting or composting.